Hello and welcome to your first day of your European Regional Qualifiers for the SWCS. That is the Smite World Championship Series. My name is F. Dot, and I'm sitting here alongside Kret.
It's good to be here, F. Dot. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. So excited to get the Season 2 started off with a bang. We're going to be seeing brand new teams, old favorites. I'm just excited as hell. We've had a lot of roster changes. A lot of teams might have stayed the same, but a lot of roster changes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, you know, roster changes in the European scene after the launch tournament were sweeping. Every single launch tournament team received a roster change. Some highlights: Smek going to TSM and Youngbei going to Cloud9. Zalia going from Cloud9 to a team that did not compete at the launch tournament and actually formed immediately after. Formerly Team Kicked, now Exposed Secrets. And, you know, that's going to be a team to watch. They have Zalia, they have Proxy, they have Funballer, so definitely some strong players on that roster. And then, you know, you also have SK, who lost NQ over to Cloud9. They still have Captain Twig, who is an incredible player, but they took some hits. They lost Proxy, they lost NQ, and, you know, is SK really going to be the same? And then there's Coast, who lost their star player Funballer, but they got Optics, who is actually filling the same role of Hunter, and we're going to see how that goes down in our first match of the day.
Now, I'm kind of excited to see Funballer and his team. Funballs, depending on the week, changes his name. Although now that the original qualifiers are in effect, pretty sure you're going to see an end to that. For those of you unfamiliar with the format, we're going to have 12 weeks of qualifiers. So we're going to have 12 weeks where all these teams accumulate and accrue seed points. And at the end, there's going to be much more to come. We have playoffs, we have wildcards, we have lands, we have regional. It's more than enough to keep everyone entertained, myself included. I'm excited to see it all. But Funball is who I started this conversation about, Kret. Now, Funball is one of the premier hunters in the European region. And I'm excited to see what he could do with his Team Kick. They've recently changed their name to the Game Changers, I believe.
No, Exposed Secrets.
Exposed Secrets. Game Changers is a different team with a slew of all-stars. But Game Changers should be Exposed Secrets should be very exciting to watch play here in this upcoming season.
Yeah, and you know, I think you've actually made an interesting point in that Exposed Secrets and Game Changers are similar teams. Players that haven't had maybe the best run of it in the competitive experience on other teams, but they're incredibly skilled. And Exposed Secrets is a team that has such strong player skill that it's possible that they'll just outplay every lane and take the win that way. But this match is going to be Worth It Gaming up against Team Coast. As we mentioned, Team Coast did lose Funballer. They replaced him with Optics, or they're going to try and replace him with Optics.
Yeah, it's tough. And big shoes to fill.
Definitely. But they also have swapped their roles around a bit. So Gortok, who played solo lane at the launch tournament, will be in the support role. So that's gonna be an interesting. We're gonna see a whole new Coast is what it's gonna come down to, and then Worth It Gaming, they were sort of a 5th to 8th level team last season.
Okay.
But Shaggy Shake, their Hunter player, is a player that's been receiving a lot of hype, and we're going to see if he can lead his team to victory.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of hype around Shaggy Shank, both in the ranked scene and the tournaments and scrims. We've had a number of off-season exhibition matches going on, whether it was the Alienware Arena tournament of last week and the week before, or various Conquest tournaments. And Shaggy Shank and his various teams have been exciting. So here in our first day of our SWCS Championship Series, I'm definitely exciting. Everything right now is going to be best of one. So it's one shot, win one, go on, lose one, go home until the finals, where it's going to be a best of 3. If you have anything to say about our SWCS, feel free to tweet at us either at SmitePro or hashtag SWCS to see your tweet at the bottom of the screen. We want to hear everything you've got going. We at the studio are so hyped, and we want to see just how hyped up you are for this season. The first game on the docket today is going to be Worth Gaming versus Team Coast.
You know, I think this matchup is really going to be about Coast. At the very least, that's what you would assume, simply because Coast is the favored team going in.
Right.
They're fourth seed, so if all goes according to seed, according to plan, as expected, Coast will be taking this victory, but it's probably not going to be that simple.
Uh-huh.
Now, Coast has really good heritage in the Smite esports scene. Spoo and Hierarch are both players that played on Copenhagen Wolves a long time ago. Before that, it was by Poor Method, and they're incredibly strong players. They actually duo lane together.
All right.
You know, if Spoo and Hierarch can get into their old farm or reach the relative level that they were back then, and now, you know, the scene has advanced, the meta has shifted, we've had lots of updates to Smite, so the game. Hierarch and Spoo were at the top of the European scene. If they can get themselves back up there, Coast could really be something to be reckoned with, and I think a big part of it comes down to Spoo's shot calling, which I have always thought has been transcendent. He's an
Oh.
incredibly intelligent and actually really friendly person too.
He was definitely a friendly guy. We had the pleasure of meeting him down in Atlanta for last season's championship series, which we did see Team Solo Mid take home first place. Coast did not place first or second, but they definitely put up a fight and they definitely brought the heat. So that's what we hope to see in our next game, which we should be getting into momentarily. But Worth Game is going to prove to be an uphill battle. As we said, Coast is the favorite today, but Shaggy Shank and the rest of his team is definitely no team to shake a finger out. Going to be interesting to see what they can bring to the table. Now let's talk a little bit about the tendencies of this team. How would you say Coast tends to play aggressive, maybe not so aggressive, versus Shaggy Shank and the rest of his roster?
You know, I think Coast has been a team that, at least in the path to Smite launch and at the launch tournament, tried to use innovative and new strategies to play a different game. You know, there's the relative boxed in meta of the North American scene, and then there's TSM and what they do in Cloud9 with their slightly more innovative play, and then there's
Right.
Coast, who brought Nemesis out in her first week, and their first game with Nemesis was in the Hunter role. And Funball killed it with Hunter role Nemesis, but that's not something we've really seen since then. And that's something that the Team Coast is likely to do. They're also very, very strong with Vulcan. Spoo's Vulcan is unbelievable.
That's
So
very
it's
true.
a pick that we might see. And, you know, you might be thinking to yourself, as I was the first time I saw it, it was actually in a casual game. I was like, oh, okay, well, Spoo's a great player, but Vulcan, really? And then you just die. It's really, really potent.
Yeah, Vulcan can do a lot of stuff. We actually we didn't see Vulcan at all in the tournament yesterday, but we did see a lot of cool stuff going on there. The finals were Snipe versus Team Dignitas. Team Dignitas did walk away the victors for our first week of regional qualifiers in the North American region. That tournament was very exciting. Dignitas wound up winning 2-0 over Snipe, but Snipe did put up a fight. Did you watch any of those matches, Craig?
I watched a few of those matches, and, you know, there are two that stood out to me. The first match, and I don't think there's much that needs to be said there, Dignitas shut out the Game Changers.
It's worth noting, though, the Game Changers shut out Down to Frag.
That's true. That's very, very
I
true.
think it was a 12-minute game, 11-minute game.
That is a very short game,
It
so
was extremely short. So
you gotta wonder what would happen if Dignitas had gone up against Down to Frag, right?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely curious. Down to Frag is no team to. Down to Frag is similar to, I guess, a Team Coast or a Worth Gaming, where they didn't win much last season, but they did win and they did make their statement. So that's sort of what I'm looking for out of Worth. I want them to come out with a bang, and I want a lot of these teams, Kret, in the European region to come out with a bang. I think we can see a lot of cool stuff coming out from this European season, and this right here is going to start it. On the left-hand side, we have Worth Gaming, and on the right-hand side, we have Team Coast.
All right, and you know, the first thing is going to be the first ban, which determines the early stages of the draft. Right now, there are 4 incredibly powerful picks, S-tier picks, if you will. Ghoul, Zeus, Bastet, and Nemesis. We already have Bastet off the table, but because Worth Gaming are in the first pick position, they can attempt to force out a trade or guarantee themselves a
Right.
pick. And Coast, actually relatively surprisingly to me, is going to opt to ban out Odin, who is definitely a very strong pick, and I'd say he is hands down the fifth strongest pick, but generally it's up to the first pick team to ban out the Odin.
Yeah. The Odin pick, Odin could just be so scary. Odin is very powerful. His ultimate, of course, is the arena, the Ring of Spears. It puts a literal ring of spears around Odin himself and whoever else happens to be unlucky enough to find themselves close to him. It boosts up his protections. It boosts up his power. It just makes it a very scary situation. And it essentially limits what gods you can pick. Rounding out the picks and bans other than Odin are going to be Bastet, who's just a very powerful jungler. Tyr, who also powerful jungler, competent soul laner, but somebody that can just spread out teams. And Poseidon, a mid who has risen up the ranks in popularity. The first pick is going to go to Worth Gaming with the ever-powerful Zeus.
But at what cost? Because of the Poseidon ban and the choice to have 3 bans that are outside of the top 4, you could see very powerful picks going to Coast. They were hovering over Ul. Now they're hovering over the monkey duo, Sun Wukong and Hunbots, locking them in. And are they really going to give up Ul and Nemesis? That's my question. We do see the Ul hover. It's actually going to switch to Ra right now. Ul hovered in another spot, so probably just optimizing their trades a little bit there. You know, it's like, all right, we want to pick Ul. Wait, no, let me have it on the Hunter player. That kind of thing. But either way, strong picks. Nemesis still on the board. And, you know, actually we've been seeing a lot of support Nemesis more recently. With the nerfs to sort of the non-ultimate parts of her kit, she has been toned down in terms of power, but her ultimate still cuts protections off by like a substantial margin, and that's really a big part of why you pick the Nemesis.
Look at that. Agni. You know, to switch off the Ra, go for the Aphrodite as Team Coast instantly locks in Agni, and that's going to bring us to our second rounds of bans, our counter bans, as we call them. But I want to mention how important the Hunbat's pick is. Hunbat's, we saw yesterday how powerful he could be, and I think he is top tier jungle. You have your Bastets and your Thanatoses, which has fallen off recently, but the pick of Hunbat's is so potent. He essentially changes his role as the game goes on. Fear No Evil becomes more powerful as the game goes on, and he can delete people. A Guan Yu is going to come out for the third ban for Team Coast, as we wait for the third ban coming out from Worth Gaming. It's going to be the Ra. So they thought about picking Ra earlier, most likely for the solo lane, and they said, nope, Aphrodite will be a better pick for us, but we need to prevent them from going and picking Ra, because Ra is just such a potent pick. So they're going to go ahead and ban Ra, and that leaves Team Coast to pick.
Yeah, Team Coast they're planning on selecting their Hunter right now, and that's always a difficult choice. They're going to opt to lock in on her. But the question is, who do you want to put in lane against Ul? It's going to be a tough time no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's just, I guess they are confident in their on her play, and that's just what they're going to go for. But it is a rough choice to make. It's a tough decision. But I love the counter bans coming out, right? Mm-hmm. Team Coast, Odin was banned out early. They picked Sun Wukong, and then they banned out the next best support, Guan Yu. Hover on Nemesis and Bacchus, which would imply Nemesis in the jungle role, Bacchus in that support role, which honestly can both be very strong picks. A big part of what makes Bacchus powerful is Intoxicate is one of the best crowd control spells in the game, simply because it lasts 8 seconds.
It's the longest.
Yeah, it is definitely the longest. It does a lot of damage. It's very disorienting, and that was an immediate Nuwa lock-in.
Yeah, that was an immediate Nuwa lock.
You don't see that often.
No, we don't see Nuwa at all very often, let alone...
We saw it yesterday. Allied.
Yeah, we don't see the instant lock. Very confident play right here. And Team Coast has amassed a very scary lineup. Essentially, they're going to look for a grouped up team fight. They're going to want to drop the Fear No Evil in the middle of everything. Maybe even fear people through Nuwa beams while they just rain hell quite literally from Agni and other people onto the confusion that they cause. What are you going to look for out of Worth Gaming?
Well, Worth Gaming has two incredibly strong carries. They have Zeus, they have Ul, and Zeus has a really powerful asset. You have to kill him before he kills your entire team. That's the rule of Zeus.
Yes.
The problem is, Ul does that too, just not quite as well. Ul's really more you have to kill him before he kills someone really powerful. Like, he'll carve through people, but it's one by one. Zeus carves through your entire team. So
Right.
Team Coast is obligated to kill Zeus. Variety on Aphrodite will be protecting Zeus. And as Team Coast is going on the Zeus very heavily, Shaggy Shank is just going to be carving through them as Ul, a very high damage carry, and that's going to be difficult to deal with. But with the very strong team fight ultimates coming out of Team Coast, they might be able to do it.
Yeah, Team Coast has strong team fight, but Worth Gaming with the Zeus, with the Aphrodite, with the Bacchus. This is a very, very scary team comp, and I didn't even mention the fact that they have Uller, one of the more powerful hunters in the game. Right now, lauded on DM Brandon's tier list as being one of the top hunters. So very, very scary stuff coming out right there, and we're going to be able to see some crazy things coming out from the Uller. I anticipate him to win this lane.
Yeah, I think that's the default right now with Ul, is you expect him to win lane, and it's up to Coast to change that up, but Gortok's a very strong player. We're going to see if he can do what he has to turn the tables on Ul and take the lane. In just a moment, we're going to go to a waiting screen, and we'll be right back with your first round match. Worth Gaming versus Team Coast.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is F. I'm joined here by my co-caster in the booth, Kret. We have for you the first game of your SWCS Regional Qualifiers, Week 1 of 12. Worth Gaming on the left in blue, represented by Princess Tomato, going to be playing that Bacchus support. Shaggy Shank is going to join him or her in lane on the Uller. Lieutenant Frosty going to be playing Zeus in the middle lane, while Ninja Borat lurks in the jungle playing Thor, and Variety hangs out in the solo lane on Aphrodite.
On the other side of the map, it's Team Coast, your European 4th seed in the launch tournament. Off of a changed roster and some role swaps, it's going to be Optics in that Hunter role, supported by Gortok. They are on her Sun Wukong in the middle lane. Team Captain Spoo on Agni in the solo lane. Emilito on Nuwa. Of course, Emilito would be the one to play Nuwa. He's always loved those strange and niche picks. And then Hyrock in the jungle as Hoonbots.
Something very interesting we're going to see is Gortok starting with a Death's Toll. We saw a little bit of this come out from the North American teams. I think it was Pain de Vion who we saw first do it, but I'm sure he wasn't the first person to do it at all together. Now tell us a little bit about this. It's more about the clear, right, Kret?
It's not actually about the clear. It's about the fact that you can basically just be a jungler. You can be a big, scary force. Death's Toll gives you 90 health, it gives you some sustain, it gives you some extra damage, and it's going to allow Gortok to pressure out Worth Gaming in a lot of different ways. And when he rotates into the jungle for jungle buffs, he can trade with people. Essentially, right now, he's on par with the jungle Thor and not the jungle Hoonbots, because and with the jungle Hoonbots, as they both have Boomba's mask. He's on par with them, maybe even a little bit stronger in terms of his strength right now because of this Death's Toll start. It's very innovative, very strong, but Gortok is getting pressured quite a lot in lane, and that's the power of Bacchus and Ul, two very, very strong laning characters.
Yeah, you know, Bacchus and Ul over here for Worth Gaming, they're splitting their DPS a little bit. Gortok has taken a decent amount of poke. He's sitting at about 33% HP, while Optics is at 90, so maybe they should focus a little more on one target. Taking a look towards the other lanes, we're looking in the solo lane, we see the Aphrodite link here. The junglers are starting to make their way away from the solo lane, as they have about 15 to 20 seconds before the next mid-camp spawn.
Yeah, this mid-camp spawn is just a crucial point for the junglers to show up, and Part of it is also the supports rotating over, and that's something that we can predict right now. Gortok and Optics, once again being pressured in this dual lane, are going to have a tougher time rotating to that mid camp. So Gortok, expect him to be cut off, to be late. The mid camps will be spawning in about 5 seconds on the right-hand side. Left-hand side is going to be delayed by about 10. hi-rez looks like he did receive the right camp, is just dueling Ninja Bobot a little, but should be able to jump away, get out just fine. On the left-hand side, the mid camp, I believe, went to
coast all the way. It was all Bacchus by himself, chased out by Gortok on the monkey, so able to secure that camp. They stunned him, they threw the hog and a meteor, and Spoo and Gortok took the left camp for themselves. So that's a split for the first mid camp out there.
It's going to be a split, yeah. But Emilito just got pushed out of this solo lane very, very low on that Nuwa, and people don't really understand just how much damage Aphrodite does. She doesn't have a damage ultimate like most other mages, but the damage in her basic kit in Back Off and Birds of Love is absolutely outrageous, and it's actually going to be an uphill battle for Emilito until he can actually start pumping out really strong numbers, but that's going to depend on his build. Going into a Doom Orb as he is, as long as he's able to keep that stacked up, he will probably be able to hold his own in lane against Aphrodite. Variety not going for a Doom Orb, so it's up to Emilito just to do a lot of damage here. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh yeah, Emilito is going to do a lot of damage providing that Doom Orb stays stacked and he doesn't die too often. Of course, Nuwa is inherently a pretty slippery character. The fog will increase, the mist will increase her movement speed and allow her to be somewhat invisible. Not so much that, but it's all about the speed that she gets from the fog. And it's also, you have your minions, you have a stun, you have a whole tool belt full of abilities to really get you out. No true escape for Nuwa, but a myriad of abilities to deter the enemy from really chasing you that far. So only forced out of lane once, and of course that's what Aphrodite is going to bring to the table, Kret. Unlimited sustain, essentially. As long as that blue buff goes for worth and Aphrodite stays up with it, she's not going to have to leave lane much, if at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's really one of the powers of Aphrodite solo during that laning phase. Now, we do have the mid camps coming up again on the right-hand side. People are grouping up. It's going to be the Fear No Evil damage coming out onto Frosty. He's very, very low. Princess Tomato also low. Ninja Bobot in the area, going up in the air. It's going to be First Blood onto Lieutenant Frosty. Ninja Bobot comes crashing down, will find hi-rez. So a 1-for-1, but First Blood is the bigger objective here, and that will go in favor of Team Ghost.
Yeah, First Blood is definitely going to go that way. So very interesting stuff right there, but it is a 1-for-1 trade. So we're going to come right back here as we are paused at the moment, but we're going to see what's going on. So very interesting stuff coming out here. It was a 1-for-1 trade. It was a center for a jungle. So it's about even. It's about even. And we're going to see what goes on with those two in just a bit. Right now we hit a little bit of a stasis mode. It's not an in-game lag. Don't worry. The integrity of the game is still the same. It's just a little bit of spectator delay.
Yeah, it essentially equates to buffering the demo from the server. So we're just going to let it buffer for a bit and get back underway. But that was a big play for both teams, and a big part of it was Fear No Evil combined with those Agni Meteors. That's a little bit of a teaser of the late game team fight coming out from Coast. If they get that Fear No Evil in the right spot, drop those meteors, it's going to absolutely obliterate Zeus, as we saw cleaned up by Gortok there. And Princess Tomato on Bacchus took a fair amount of damage too, but part of the problem with initiating with Hoonbots is you're an assassin, and unless you build like a warrior, it's going to hurt. Ninja Bobot got in the fight very, very quickly, and he made an incredibly intelligent decision to go up in the air, see if he could secure the Hoonbots, which he did, and as a result, it gave him a really strong path out of the fight, able to pick up the left gold camp on the way out as well. So while Team Coast did get the First Blood through really good calls and really good team play, I think the individual best decisions there were in the hands of Ninja Boba. He did a lot to salvage that situation, and it could have come out a lot worse. Typically, off of a play like that, you would see both mid camps going one way or Hoonbots getting out unscathed, but
Not this
Thor
time.
really did everything he could to just make a recovery.
Yeah, and also one thing really worth noting, Kret, First Blood might have gone to Team Coast, but it's on the support. Gortok is the one that picked up that kill, credited with that kill, while Lieutenant Frosty getting the kill onto Lieutenant Frosty, while Ninja Bobat is the jungler. That's going to mean a little bit more in the grand scheme of things. Of course, it's minor, but the major victories are a culmination of a bunch of minor victories, are they not?
That's true, but First Blood onto support isn't always necessarily the worst thing. Gortok is going into Midas boots, so he will likely be able to get those very, very soon. He needs about 100 gold right now just to pick up those Midas boots. And with that First Blood, it's going to accelerate his build, which means it's going to accelerate his sovereignty. Generally, the first item for supports is sovereignty. It's a 20 protection aura to both physical and magical. And that is very, very strong. It reduces the damage that your backline takes significantly. So characters like Agni and Anhur on Team Coast and Nuwa will be taking, I want to say, about 20% less damage, which is a big deal. Another way to put it, and this is a little bit more of an experiential explanation, is that we all know how amazing the damage coming out from pen boots is, right? Just the damage boost that it gives you. Sovereignty negates that.
Oh, well, definitely. Yeah, you said more experiential, just stuff you get from playing a little more colloquially.
Yeah,
exactly. As you can see in the chat, we have hi-rez APC telling us that we'll be back within 3 minutes, so don't worry, it's not going to be a long time. Stay with us, don't change that channel. We're going to be back with the action of Team Coast and Worth Gaming in just a couple of minutes. Of course, hi-rez APC being our tournament master, for lack of a better title, the head guy in charge, the one that makes it all work. So trust his word over anyone else's. But right now, I'm really excited to see that. I love that play that just happened, and I want to talk about it. You mentioned it, but we kind of glossed over it. That Hunbots play with the Agni Meteors, that's a microcosm of what we're going to be seeing later on in this game. I mentioned it earlier in the pregame, how we're going to see the Hunbots go in. I would love to see a blink onto High Rock. I would love to see the blink, Ultimate Fear No Evil come out, and then Spoo and Optics just rain hell. The Desert Fury comes out, the meteors rain down, and all the while, Emilito throws the box. And then it's just, who's going to survive? I predict 1 or 2 gods die in a single Fear No Evil without quality beads.
Yeah, for sure. But, speaking of quality beads, Lieutenant Frosty had beads there. He has not returned to base. So very, very intelligent heads-up play from him. Yeah. In that case, they did it. Save his life, but they gave his team enough time to make the recovery play that we mentioned. Obvious combo from Team Coast is Fear No Evil, Agni Bombs, Box, and your Desert Fury. And if that all happens at the same time, and even one person aegises it, well, it could be really bad for Team Coast, because Worth It Gaming has a little bit of a more abstract team fight. Yes, you have the Zeus Ultimate, Lightning Storm. Yes, you have Intoxicate, and yes, you have Anvil of Dawn. But I think those a lot of those characters are really less ultimate dependent than you might expect. A lot of Zeus's damage comes from Chain Lightning. It has an 8-second cooldown by default. And basically what happens in a team fight is you just recycle it as much as you can and spam that Chain Lightning because it carves through people. The ult is a tool. Chain Lightning is what gets you the stacks and gets you those kills in a lot of cases. And then there's just Still working on the name, guys. But yeah, is a really good way to put it. The damage he can do is absolutely disgusting, and Team Coast has to find a way to kill Zeus without ignoring
Once again, for those of you just joining us, we're in the middle of watching Team Coast versus Worth Gaming. It is our first game, it is first match of the day, not just of the day, but of the 2014 SWCS series. That, of course, is the Smite World Championship Series. It is a 12-week regional qualifier. Sundays are European, Saturdays are North American. Right now, we're tuned into the European. We have a brief wait from the first match, a little bit of buffering going on the spectator client. Don't worry, the actual gameplay is unaffected. The integrity is the same, no lag, etc., etc. My name is F. Dot. I'm joined here with Kret. We're hosting today for you, and we just saw some explosive gameplay. hi-rez jungler for Team Coast launched himself in, used an ultimate, which made everybody go crazy. One person died, and then he traded his life to the enemy jungler. So we're sort of at a spot where the characters, where the players, and everybody involved are sort of retreating and regrouping, going back. We're 4.5 minutes into the game, but much more Smite is left to be played.
And there's one other thing that is important to note. One of the biggest blows you can deal to a team is killing a jungler and taking their potion of physical power.
To be fair, the potion of power is probably ending. It's 4:38
Exactly.
right now in game. The potion of power is going to be ending within the minute. But I think I think more important than killing the potion of power is just killing the jungler.
Yeah.
Late game, the jungler has a little more leeway, so to speak. But early game, Kret, killing a jungler, as a jungler, you have a mindset and you have an ideal path. Ideally, you're going to start off either at your red buff or at mids if you're on the other side of the map, and you're going to go from your buff to the blue buff, sit in lane until about 2 minutes, come over to the mid camps, and then progress on. Should anything happen, should a bump go in the road, should something go on, well, now your entire game plan has changed. And that's the beauty of Smite, right? You have to have dynamic gameplay, dynamic planning, and right now, they're going to test hi-rez dynamic planning. They're going to see how well he can do while making him stutter step a little bit towards the initial phases. And that's always the hardest part, working through that and figuring out, all right, I died. I've been dead for about, I think, 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds is the respawn. Then you have to get back to the game, get back to the field. That's going to take another couple of seconds. And now you're just time-wise behind the enemy jungler. And time is one of the biggest resources in the early game of Smite.
Yes, it definitely is, but you mentioned we're going to see hi-rez dynamic play, but I think hi-rez has always been a dynamic player and a dynamic builder, and this is going to be nostalgia for a few people, but in the olden days, hi-rez played a lot of Guan Yu.
In the olden days.
days.
Back when Habwa was an old man,
yeah.
Guan Yu had a different... Yeah, you're right, he definitely did. And it was a lot of fun.
But you know what was a lot of fun, or not a lot of fun about that build? Frostbound Hammer, Gem of Isolation. That sounds like the most annoying thing in the world, does it not? And that is the point. hi-rez is not a player that's afraid to get under people's skin. And that can be very, very important as a jungler. And in this case, right... Who cares if hi-rez feeds as long as Zeus is feeding too? As long as Lieutenant Frosty is feeding too. That would be a perfectly good trade. But we are going to be getting pulled back in this game very shortly. And here we are. We should be back in, resuming at the 40-second mark. Ninja Bobat did just steal that left mid-camp after getting the kill on a hi-rez. He's in a little bit of a tough spot, but we'll just be able to walk right out of that one.
Yeah, we're definitely back. He's going to go ahead and get a blue buff to help out Shaggy Shank in the long lane. That, of course, is going to give him some extra experience, going to get that buff down for Shank so he can immediately get back to the lane and hopefully not miss any minions that are coming down that lane. We take a look across the map. Over here in the solo lane, nothing really of consequence going on, just a couple of pushing. Aphrodite, of course, is at level... They're both at level 7. Aphrodite is able to clear the wave. Emilito as well, just a couple of extra seconds needed on her end. Mid's going about the same. Zeus is about half a level behind the enemy fire god, Agni. And that's basically because he died to the hands of the jungle. So we're going to see a little bit of a reset, as I mentioned before, in the break. And we should be waiting for the next engagement to come around probably next buff camps. Mid camps, rather.
Yeah, it'll probably be in about 40 or so seconds. The ultimates will be back up relatively soon. Right now, for Team Coast, Gore-Tex ultimate is the only one that's down. Ninja Bobat still waiting for his ultimate, and Shaggy Shank, well, his ultimate is actually listed as on cooldown, and it's not, but that tells us that he has not actually taken his ultimate yet. He's just going to be maxing his 1 and his 3, looking to get as much damage as possible, and with that with that incredibly strong poke, Optics is going to be
in the middle lane. We're going to have a little bit of engagement. hi-rez just deletes Lieutenant Frosty right there. The ultimate does come out. Zeus was pretty low already, Krat, but a quick ultimate, a quick crit. There's no more middle laner for Worth Gaming. That's going to be his second death, and that's going to be what Team Coast is looking to do this entire match. Princess Tomato is here surrounded by 3 members of the enemy team. Going to be able to get those mid camps, but now he's a little stuck out by Gortok. Thor's going to be able to get away, no problem. Bacchus is going to jump over to the speed camp, and that's going to deter Team Coast from fighting and continuing their chase. But that's going to be what Team Coast is going to look to do to Worth Gaming this entire time. Zeus is the priority target right now. Zeus, as we mentioned, can be an extremely potent carry later on in the game, not just with his ultimate, but with the pure damage that comes out from the Chain Lightning. So with that, Kret, you definitely want to keep him down, dead, frequently.
Yeah, and you know, Team Coast has definitely taken control of the middle lane. They're going to actually pull the Gold Fury, looking for a sneak. They saw Worth Gaming return to base. This was warded out, and it is getting pinged out by Worth Gaming. Ninja Bobat is approaching the range he needs to get to ult, but he's not going to get there in time. The Gold Fury will go down 7 minutes and 38 seconds. To Team Coast, comes crashing down onto Gortak, who will receive a lot of damage. Stunned out, Ninja Bobat in a horrible position, will die. Gortak dies as well, but 1-for-1 with the Gold Fury is a great trade. Princess Tomato not able to find the belly flop. Team Coast really just took control of the game. That's a 100 gold lead. Yeah, 2.5 thousand.
Yep.
That is a lot at the 8-minute mark.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the second early Gold Fury we've seen in our SWCS. We saw a 6-minute, if I'm not mistaken, Gold Fury come out from Snipe yesterday in our North American regionals, and a 7-minute Gold Fury come out today from Team Coast. Out comes the jump. Out comes the Fear No Evil coming out from the Monkey. He's probably not going to be able to secure anything onto Shaggy Shank. Not quite able to 100 to 0. But now here comes the rest of Worth Gaming. A quality stun and a quality jump. hi-rez is in a bad place at the moment. Jumped on by Shaggy Shank. That's going to be a quality kill. A great reversal. A great turnaround for Worth Gaming. They needed that.
Yeah, they really did, but that's the power of, he's just such a strong pick. Spooch trying to get those left camps with the bombs as Emilito goes down in the solo lane to Aphrodite's repeated poke, but now Gortak is in a tough spot. The Rift, and that's the old Thor Bacchus combo, and that's Lieutenant Frosty picking up the kill. Sun Wukong is a very hard character to catch, but if anyone can catch him, it's going to be Bacchus, Thor, and Zeus. I mean, what a powerful combination to go up against. And, you know, just as we said Team Coast is taking the lead, they're still ahead in gold, but in terms of map pressure, Worth Gaming is really flexing their muscles.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, Worth Gaming is able to maintain control. You know, they're still behind. They're down about 1,400. They shaved 1,000 off of their deficit that we saw right after the Gold Fury. And you know, a lot of that is the 2 kills that they just picked up. I do like the blink pickup coming out from hi-rez. It allowed him to get the jump on the Shaggy Shank, but not able to 100 to 0 him quite yet, and that's what got him killed, essentially. Quality pillar, have to give a shout out to Optics, or have to give a shout out to Optics trying to save his friend, but wasn't enough as hi-rez went down in the long lane. And then, as you said, Gortok got caught out, kind of. The bird doesn't go over walls, Kret. So that Thor Rift is going to stop him directly in his tracks. But Agni rotated over to the solo lane. Agni and Nuwa making a quality push. The Nuwa box is going to come out. Variety's going to get hit by it. Emilito's going to get hit and hit him with the basic to kill Variety. That's a dead Aphrodite. No ultimate. Big jump coming out from Bacchus. Lieutenant Frosty here to clean up the kill. Emilito's going to go down, so that's a 1-for-1 delayed trade going on right there. Team Coast is doing a lot of damage, and Worth Gaming really isn't giving anything for free. We are neck and neck, shaving the lead down to about 1,100 gold now. 6-4 kills. Worth Gaming in the lead with respect to kills, believe it or not.
Yeah, Worth Gaming's really playing this well, and it looks like they should be ahead, but that early Gold Fury is just doing a lot of work for Team Coast to keep them in this game, and Team Coast has also had really nice mid-harpy control, but really this is the point where Zeus's mid-harpy control is uncontestable. Well, it's contestable as we see it right here. hi-rez getting aggressive, and he's going to take a lot of damage, deleted by Ninja Bobat, but the Meteor will find Lieutenant Frosty. Variety not able to get that Link and ult off quite in time. Oh, his ultimate was down anyway, so there you go. Not possible at all. But Zeus has really good mid-camp clear, but he is still a vulnerable character. We saw it right there as he gets deleted, but hi-rez once again trading his life for that kill. And honestly, I would say he's happy to do it if he wasn't building a Heartseeker. That is a bit of a curious pickup, considering he is currently 1-3.
Yeah, it's now started though, so the game doesn't start until you finish that stacking item. So the 3 kills essentially, while they do matter on him, it's all about what happens after the Heartseeker. So we'll see if he continues his trend of dying, or if he can pick up some kills along the way and become very powerful. In the shorthand lane, Emilito's going to get a stun out and surround with the minions. Variety's getting a little stuck out, caught in between the box. She's not going to walk out of it. No, not going to get tricked a second time against that Nuwa. And curious, Emilito's going to walk away with Snake Form in
He heard Thor.
He did hear Thor, and there he is, going to miss the stun. Maybe didn't even go for it, just wanted to provide a little bit of presence. Not sure if they could turn around on the level 13 Nuwa over there. So good choice to back off and just play defense, essentially. But Variety's going to take that Flame Strike, going to take a basic, try to hang out. As we mentioned before, Aphrodite, the Queen of Sustain.
Yeah, and actually my mistake that the Aphrodite ult was used in an attempt to save Zeus, but little known fact, the reason I brought it up, if you ult and then link, the ult will apply the moment the link happens, which actually might have been able to save Lieutenant Frosty there. We do have the right mid-camp coming up. Gortak is going to be taking that one with Spoo, and it should go cleanly to Team Coast. The left camp will be spawning in 5 seconds. Princess Tomato has just returned to base, but Worth It Gaming is going to secure this one nice and easily. And, Team Coast still has that gold advantage, but map presence still in favor of Worth Gaming, and I think both of these teams want something to change. Coast is looking to do just that. They're positioning around the Gold Fury, gonna look to pressure out Ninja Bobat, finding a little bit of damage, but it's not gonna be quite enough as Spoo takes a double tap from the Mjolnir's attunement. And it's going to actually be the jump in from Princess Tomato. It looks like Worth Gaming wants to fight here. They've got their Zeus in position. Those are all of the meteors down. Princess Tomato is going to get burst down very low. Lieutenant Frosty in the back, forced to combat blink out. Can Gortok secure this kill? He's going to go charging forward. Will be able to find Lieutenant Frosty, but that is going to be a very, very strong trade coming out from Coast. Spoo dashes aggressively, beads reset to find the Flame Wave. Not going to do enough damage as Aphrodite was able to heal up. The Sacred Monkey does not bounce, but still, Coast got a lot off of that.
Yeah, that was a 3-for-0 exchange. It's still going on right here. hi-rez wants to make things happen. Variety taking a lot of poke from that level 13 monkey. I don't know how many stacks he has on that Heartseeker, but it's paying in spades at the moment. hi-rez is going to go ahead and invade the safe Harpy camp, pick up the speed buff that he stole away from the enemy team. Great fight. I don't know if Team Coast was looking for the gold sphere and just looking for the fight, but they got it. And now Team Coast has extended their lead to 4,900 gold, sitting halfway through the 14th minute of this match. It is 7-8 versus with kills. Team Coast leading the way as well as leading the way in respect of gold, approaching that 5,000 gold mark right now. But towers are a different story. Team Coast has lost their solo lane tower. So has Worth Gaming. They've also lost their other solo lane tower. So they only have 4 structures remaining.
Yeah, Aphrodite rotated over to the left-hand side of the map to help out with a team fight, which was totally necessary. Nuwa, very good at pushing down structures. That's really one of the things that she does best, especially as a mage. So we'll be able to take 2 in that solo lane very, very strong. Right now, hi-rez is sitting around 20 stacks. It's going to be 21 right now coming out. So it's going to be a really, really good amount there. We do have a Gold Fury coming out, and Worth It Gaming, they're going to try and contest. Princess Tomato taking a lot of damage, but Thor is up in the air. He's going to come crashing down onto Gortak. Princess Tomato jumps in. Worth It Gaming will find the Gold Fury, But that is a deletion onto 2 members of Worth Gaming. Lieutenant Frosty finds 1, and 2 for 1 when you steal the gold for you. That's pretty worth. The fight is continuing. Shaggy Shank gonna look for Spoo. Not gonna find it.
Yeah, great steal. Just have to reiterate, that was a steal from Worth Gaming. The Thor ultimate comes down. Great Bacchus knockup, and the knockup is really, the belly flop is one of the better abilities to secure things going on like that. Here we have Emilito. Worth Gaming is going to push onto him past the tower after doing a lot of damage to it, and they're going to, there it is, the kill on Emilito. Emilito might have gotten a tower, but not his life. So right there, they're going to get rid of him. After stealing the Gold Fury steal is going to bring it down to 3,600. So that's about a 1,500 gold worth of lead that Worth Gaming has deleted. And like I said before, this is continuing. It's 9 to 10 in the kills, and that's the trend we're seeing. Team Coast is sneaking out objectives right here, but Worth Gaming won't give them anything for free as they're aggressing on the Spoo. He's forced to go back, but here's the rest of Worth Gaming up in the middle lane. 4 members. There's the Intoxicate. Optic having to jump out. Gortok is here, throwing the Jingu Bang down. But all 5 members of Worth Gaming are sieging this middle tower. That middle tower is going to go down. 3 members of Team Coast are going to have to walk away. Hyrock narrowly avoiding the stun. And now we're going to see the retreat coming out of Worth Gaming.
Yeah, but you know, that was a really good play, right? Worth Gaming did exactly what they needed to regain map control, and that's really what it's coming down to right now. Worth It Gaming has to retake control of this map, and finding Gortok here, that's a big step. Deleted in the middle lane, Spoo goes down, and that is a big amount of kills. Looks like Worth Gaming is heading over to the Fire Giant. They're gonna give it an attempt, and I mean, it's looking good, right? There's no one who can outright hog it away from them, but there is a chance for Coast to fight for it. Hyrock's gonna come, and he will get stunned out, looking for Lieutenant Frosty, not gonna find a Lightning Storm on stop. Ninja Bobat able to get up in the air just in time. Lieutenant Frosty will find 2. Optics jumps away from Ninja Bobat, and a very nice knockback. Now it's just a Hunter duel. Shaggy Shake versus Optics, finds the Hail of Arrows, finds the kill. It will stop the Fire Giant, but Worth Gaming is going to be content with that. If you want to trade 3 people to stop us from doing Fire Giant, okay.
I actually really like that play by Team Coast, despite the fact that 3 of them died, Kret.
Yes.
The Fire Giant buff on Worth Gaming would have been a lot more important. It would have almost guaranteed them a tower, I think. We saw what happened when they grouped up 5 people and they sieged down the middle tower. That was without a Fire Giant buff. So Team Coast essentially traded 3 of their members to prevent the Fire Giant, but here comes the Fire Giant attempt number 2. This time, no one there to fight and contest. You're going to have the Monkey come in, a bad wall from Ninja Bobat. Here comes Spoo walking right into the fire. Going to hit the Fire Giant, but no steal worth noting about. But Spoo's going to take down Ninja Bobat. Now there comes the fight after the fight, and they're going to look for variety. Gortok very low up in the Somersault Cloud. Spoo giving chase. He's probably going to turn around. They don't want to aggress, or do they, Kret?
Well, you know, Coast is just posturing, right? They're looking for a lazy back. Hey, maybe there's an opening here. Hey, maybe we can take something. Maybe we can catch someone out, because that's what Coast has to do right now. First of all, they want to make Worth Gaming not get that much out of the Fire Giant. The Gold Fury is down. It will be down for about 2 minutes, so Worth Gaming will likely pick that up near the end of their Fire Giant. And in the meantime, Team Coast is going to push up as hard as possible in these lanes, just to make sure that Worth Gaming has longer to push before they can get to an inner tower or a Phoenix or anything that really matters. Yeah, Worth Gaming is probably going to take Team Coast's outer dual lane tower.
Oh, yeah.
That's an assumed casualty. That's gone already. I mean, it's sitting at full health. It's on the map. Worth Gaming is just going to roll over and take it. But maybe if Team Coast pushes out hard enough, they won't take... maybe they can save 1 inner tower, right? And if you can save at least 1, it's certainly worth your time. Another big part is going to be the split push coming out from Emilito right now. He's already proved he's very potent at killing towers, and if he stays uncontested in that solo lane, he will take a Phoenix. And if he's able to take a Phoenix, regardless of the... well, not entirely regardless of the cost, but in most cases regardless of the cost, it's going to be a good idea for Team Coast.
Oh yeah, I'm going to say regardless of the cost with you as well. Though Thor is back and he's going to defend this Phoenix. They're going to do a 4-1 push right here. They're going to have 4 people push onto this tower. They're going to take both towers in the duo lane, not just the inner, but not just the outer, but the inner as well. And Thor is here to protect their Phoenix from the Nuwa. The Nuwa is sitting at level 17 while Thor's sitting at level 15. but still Nuwa doesn't want to fight. She's walking around, going to go towards the middle tower, going to take that one. Great play right there, deking out the Thor, able to push by herself. Of course, Nuwa can stun the tower, provide her own minions for the wave. Now they're going to look, Worth Gaming is going to look to make Emilito pay. The stun is good, but so are the beads. Emilito is now activating the mist, trying to get away. Another stun, great invisible stun. The box comes out, but it doesn't matter. Shaggy Shank going to take her life right there. So that's 5 members of Worth Gaming right here, all around the Gold Fury, looking to take it away.
Yeah, right now they're going to be able to do the Gold Fury. There's not really much Team Coast can do about it. They could send in Gortok for the solo steal. He does have his ultimate up, but they don't elect to do that. They don't
get it.
Right, yeah, they're going to get that Gold Fury for free. Gortok doesn't want to give his life for that Gold Fury, and he would. It's, do you give your life for the chance to steal? And the answer in this case is Team Coast says, no. We're going to give that up. We're going to give it the tower. And yeah, we're going to be behind in gold, but not by that much because we had a nice buffer. And right now it's going to be sitting at a 2.4 deficit in favor of Worth Gaming. They're going to go for the last inner tower.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and take both the mid tower and the last tower and the last tower remaining. Now, this is the first lead change of the entire game stemming from the Gold Fury. That other tower is going to push their lead to a 4,000 gold lead, which is definitely something worth talking about. Sitting here at the 22-minute mark, 15 kills to 11 in favor of Worth Gaming. Team Coast has no structures, but their Phoenixes remaining after a fantastic Fire Giant push, which got Worth Gaming both a Gold Fury, multiple towers, multiple lanes, and it completely annihilated. Now we have a team fight. Thor somewhere in the air looking for a target. The Nuwa box is down. Princess Tomato getting very low, but that's the support. Spoon's gonna blink away. Great defensive play and reaction time away from the Thor. He's gonna get caught out, but not before Emilito takes the life of someone else. Shaggy Shank is gonna go ahead, collect 2 kills. Looking at the team fight graphic, we have a 2-for-1 trade at the moment, but they're still fighting. Gortok taking a lot of poke. Uller looking for something else. Optic surrounded by 2 members. Ninja Bowback gonna get credit for that kill, while Variety gets credit for the support.
Lieutenant Frosty with the combat blink. He's gonna find Emilito. He saved that right till the end. Don't use it till you need it. And he said, okay, well, I don't need it right here, but I can get the deicide. I'll trade a combat blink for the deicide. That's good.
It's rare to see an offensive combat blink, but when it comes out, it's usually to seal the deal. That's exactly what happened. Right now, this is going to be the second deicide of the game, the first natural deicide, all 5 members dying about the same time. Hunbats is going to come up. He does not have Fear No Evil available to him. This middle Phoenix is all but secured. There it goes. And they're going to back off. They're not going to get too greedy. They understand that they can't go too hard. They're sitting comfortably on a 6,000 gold lead. They want to extrapolate that, not minimize that. Lieutenant Frosty is going to walk right past these mid camps, and everybody's going to generally back after collecting a little bit of buffs or gold from the jungle, buy some items, and come back able to fight.
Yeah, you know, these buffs are actually really important right now. Looking at Zeus, he's sitting at 363 magic power, and that's starting to get to the point where red buff is actually a really big deal. It might go to Shaggy Shank and Set. Now they're going to leave it on the ground for Zeus, exactly as predicted, simply because Lieutenant Frosty hasn't been feeding. He just straight up has not been feeding. He's got a nice amount of cooldown reduction. His combat blink will be down for this next engagement, but he's staying alive in these fights, and his damage just tells that story, sitting at 16,000 damage, a really nice amount for Zeus. And Shaggy Shank not that far behind. Lieutenant Frosty will receive some poke, but Meteor, just to make Aphrodite used a little bit of mana, isn't actually worth it. Coast has to hard engage here, and they have to get a kill while using their weakening curse, right? And, you know, there's the other problem. We actually didn't touch on this. You have to focus the Zeus, but what about Aphrodite?
Yeah, the Aphrodite needs to be your first target and just avoid what Zeus is going on. Of course, that's easier said than done, and Lieutenant Frosty's going to prove that by taking Hyrox's life before the fight even begins. Worth Gaming has fallen back off of the Fire Giant in favor of just straight fighting Team Coast. They know that they have the gold lead. They're playing like they're up by 6,000 gold as they are. Aggressing onto the Fire Giant is Worth Gaming. Gortok is still around in the conversation, but this Fire Giant is going down way too fast. The hand's already out. Gortok has no chance. Make your time. Now he's taking a lot of poke. Already up on the somersault cloud by a hair. But the birds are going to take him down while on that cloud. Dot's more powerful than regeneration.
Yeah, shoutouts to the birds. What a powerful ability. And, you know, there's not even a Divine Ruin out on Worth Gaming. That just straight up out-damaged 5% of Gordok's life per second. That's an incredibly impressive amount of damage coming out from Aphrodite. The fight under the right Phoenix. This is a big engagement for Team Coast. They have to find something here if they want to salvage this. Lightning Storm onto the backline. Sarah Frosty, so much damage. He's not even dead. Combat Blink out of the overhand smash, and Shaggy Shank looking to secure High Rock will jump forward into the enemy's Phoenix area. Meanwhile, the right Phoenix is going to go down, and this is just Worth Gaming closing it out nice and safe. Shaggy Shank getting some damage on the Titan. Will pull. It's actually going to reset, so really not too much coming out there. Yeah, he got 5% off, so I guess it was worthwhile, but it's about the fight.
Here comes the fight.
That's not even a fight, sorry. That's just Spoo getting straight up murdered. Worth Gaming is looking like they're going to take it.
Fantastic. Congratulations to Worth Gaming taking the first game of the European WCS. Fantastic play coming out from Team Coast. Worth Gaming sneaking it out in the end. 26 minutes, 33 seconds, 25 kills to 13. Worth Gaming are your victors for the first round.
Yeah, and man, they played it well.
Yeah,
We're going to be going straight into our next game. It's going to be Bloody Tech versus Exposed Secrets, which is, it's two new teams to the scene. And both teams actually have a similar description. Exposed Secrets, very high skill players looking to group up, create a team that they can get to the front with. The next one, or the other team, Bloody Tech, well, they're sort of the ranked team coming out of Europe. We have some really powerful ranked players, such as Dover and Frezzy. Let's take a look at our brackets right now to see who is going to be moving on to our next round. We already saw Worth Gaming taking out Team Coast. F-Dot, would you call that an upset?
I would definitely call that an upset. We don't have the brackets on screen just now. I will link the brackets into chat so you guys can take a look at that. But so that is definitely an upset, correct? Team Coast, although they have a new hunter, their core is still there. 4 out of 5 of their previous members that were taken to the Smite Launch tournament have just lost to a brand new team, and Worth Gaming have proven their salt without really having any big names, so to speak. I mean, I've seen the names here and there. I can recognize some of the names, but a lot of them are newer players to the competitive scene, and coming out and not only winning versus Coast, but winning after being down. I think the biggest lead Coast had was about 6,000, coming around from that through quality team fights. They didn't manufacture a lead by forcing wins out of Team Coast's mistakes. They just outfought them at points and earned their own lead.
Yeah, and you know, I think a big part of it, and granted he was playing hands down the strongest hunter, Shaggy Shank lived up to the hype. 7-0-7 is a very powerful slash line, 17,000 player damage. He really showed us that he is very strong in that role. Now granted, once again, strongest hunter, so if he didn't outperform Optics, that would be saying something else. Not necessarily a poor performance, but perhaps focus coming out from Team Coast. But when it came down to focus, they just couldn't find the Zeus. And I think a big part of that was there were just too many priority targets. Typically, it's kill the Zeus or kill the Afro first because she protects the important people, and then, you know, kill the Zeus. But they weren't able to do that. The brackets are on screen, and round 3 of this tournament is